Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spring 2, Week 1 of our writing project. We are going to be continuing looking at Anthony Brown texts, and to start off, we are going to be looking at a story called Voices in the Park. Now, on DB Primary, you have a video link with somebody reading the story, as well as a PDF version. And just before beginning this task, you need to have read Voices in the Park. So if you haven't done that yet, pause this video, either watch the video or read the PDF in order to access the story. And if you have accessed the story, let's begin. We're going to be looking at describing characters from the story. We're going to be describing characters using adjectives, focusing on their looks and their personality, and hoping to make comparisons. What are the differences and similarities between characters to finish? So let's just recap what an adjective is. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. You can have adjectives that describe the colour, the shape, the size, the taste, smell, feeling, sound, and even the environment around someone or something, a personality of a character as well. And here are just a couple of basic examples of adjectives. Now, what we're going to be looking at specifically, not just how our characters look, but also their personalities, their inner character. So here in front of you, you can see a range of different examples of adjectives that describe a personality. You've got sensitive, dishonest, mean, nice, optimistic, energetic, cheerful, bad-tempered, untidy, and all other examples. And before we describe other characters, I'd actually like you to think about how would you describe yourself? You can pause the video and have a talk with somebody at home or in school about how would you describe your personality. And remember, we are not one-dimensional characters. We have lots of layers to our characters. So you can pick more than one. I would actually encourage you to pick more than one, because in certain situations you might be one thing and then another, you'll be another. So pause the video, have a discussion around you with the people around you, and talk about how would you describe yourself and how would they describe you, and do they match? Okay, so we are actually going to be looking at these four characters. We've met Mother, Charles, Dad, and Smudge. And they're all very different, and yet some similarities too. But what words would you describe their appearance, and what words would you use to describe their personalities? And that is basically what you're going to be doing today. This will help build a word bank for you to use later in the week. And do remember, think deeply about your first impressions of these characters, and you can describe them with more than one adjective. For example, when you first meet a character to when you last see the character in the story, you might get different impressions. So, on your worksheets, you're going to find 4 boxes. I'd like you to write down just some key words. You don't need to write full sentences, just key words that would describe your first impressions of each of these characters. And your next step afterwards, I'd like you to think about comparing them. How are the characters different from each other? How are they the same? Are there any bad characters? Which ones and why? And which one is your favourite character and why?